6 darshanas. You know the Shad Darshanas? The 6 darshanas. Darshana meaning the 6 streams of Indian philosophy, religious philosophy are the darshanas. It's a nice name. Darshana means actually to face, to see it. You go to a temple for darshan, you want to have darshan. These are called darshanas, which means the word darshana was made with this idea in mind that approaching it through any one of these, you can see, have darshan of the truth. So there is the Mimamsa, which is basically the rituals and Brahmana part of the Vedas where you perform havans, this, that, it's all included in Mimamsa. There is something called Uttara Mimamsa which leans towards Vedanta. Uttara Mimamsa, some people call Uttara Mimamsa as Vedanta only. So then there is Nyaya. Nyaya is, what is Nyaya? Who's the Uttam Nyaya? Nyaya is the Supreme Court. We had the highest Nyaya authority here the other day when we opened. So Nyaya means to prove or disprove something using arguments, discussions. Case. Put it this, attorney is blaming somebody, the defense lawyer is defending him, and the judge is trying to find a path in between. So this is Nyaya. So this also applies to understanding philosophy. Somebody says, no, it like this. Somebody says, no, it is this way. There's someone sitting there who's trying to sort this out. Yeah. Then there is Sankhya. Now, Sankhya is Kapila. What you should understand is Kapila is one of the ancient teachers, very old. Can you hear me? Yeah? Yeah. Kapila is one of the earliest teachers of yoga. He appears in the Bhagavad, he appears in the Gita, and in the Gita, Kapila is so important that Vyasa cannot resist the temptation of Krishna declaring to Arjuna among his glories, among the Meru I am among the mountains I am the Meru, among the Achalas I am the Himachala, among and so on and so forth. Among the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. So when he says, among the Munis, I am Kapila, among the Rishis. So which means he's an important person. Kapila actually means blonde. Maybe he came from abroad, we don't know. Or maybe a blonde Indian. India is this new small geographical location now. But I think at one time it was spread out quite a bit. So, anyway, Kapila. Kapila. Whose case is Pila. Look. Now, so Kapila is the founder of one of the early, after Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, first Sankhya is mentioned in the Darshanas. Now, Sankhya is an ancient system of, actually Sankhya in Sanskrit could also mean numbers. The study of numbers, arithmetic, mathematics can also be Sankhya. But here Sankhya means a system of philosophy, a system of understanding this world as it is, as Prakriti, and trying to look for the conscious essence behind Prakriti. This is the basic Sankhya. Some of the important texts of Sankhya which you don't have to do, Sankhya Pravanchana Sutra, and Kapila's Sankhya Sutras and so on. We don't have to deal with it. Why Sankhya is important as a darshana for us? Because 85% of the ideological and theological and philosophical content of Yoga Darshana come from Sankhya. Now Sankhya, many Vedanta also has adopted Sankhya. All the normal terms we hear, gunas, tattvas, they all come from Sankhya originally. So it's an ancient philosophy. This is Sankhya. Now Sankhya happens to be an atheistic philosophy. You'll be surprised. 2000 years ago. What I mean by atheistic is not that there is no concept of a divine essence, but there is no creator God sitting and, the silly thing, somebody There's a creator God with a workshop. He's sitting there making people, throwing them down, then punishing them, then taking them back. And this concept of a creator Ishvara is not there in Sankhya. According to Sankhya, there is Purusha and Prakriti. It's not a monistic philosophy, it's a dualistic philosophy. According to Kapila, there is Purusha and there is Prakriti. Prakriti is what we see, the whole world, creation. And according to Sankhya, this world is created, as some scientists say today, by natural combination of chemicals with their own innate intelligence. And the conscious essence in Prakriti is Purusha. Now, when you say Purusha, it doesn't mean male, okay? Purusha means the essence, the spiritual essence, the consciousness behind the matter which is not conscious. Even what we call unconscious matter also has something guiding it in intelligence, but it's not as we know consciousness. This is the distinction between Prakriti and Purusha. Now, according to Sankhya theory, Purusha is totally covered generally by Prakriti. The whole process of Sankhya is to free yourself from the Prakriti and go back to the essence of the Purusha. When that is reached, the Sankhya yogin realizes that there is only one Purusha. Their duality ends with Sankhya. There is no different Purushas. It's like one Purusha operating through different points of reference as different human beings, animals and so on, and different, but there's only one Purusha. So when the yogi realizes that Purusha, freeing himself from Prakriti through various thoughts and actions, then in that Purusha he realizes, actually I am the Purusha and not the Prakriti. And that one Purusha, there is only one Purusha, there is no many Purushas. And when that happens, that person who has touched that Purusha, has understood everything is one, can also be referred in Sankhya as Ishvara. Can also be. Otherwise, what they mean by Ishvara is a primordial wisdom which is operating in this world. Not someone who's sitting and modeling people, throwing them down and so on. This is a completely Semitic concept that has come down to us. There is a God sitting there punishing you, throwing you out and so on and so forth. Sankhya is different in that sense of the term. Okay. Now yoga is also a darshana. Now there is Vedanta, which is another darshana, and yoga. Now yoga, most of the theory of yoga is derived from Sankhya. Yoga also, the last chapter of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is called the Kaivalya Pada, speaks about freeing the Purusha from all the conditions which surround it. When the mind becomes completely quiet and free, there is no vritti operating in the mind. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha is the definition in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Patanjali is considered the founder of the Yoga Darshanas. So, when this happens, it's just very similar to the Sankhya yogi saying that Prakriti has subsided and there is only the Purusha. So Kaivalya, there is only one. In fact, the word Kaivalya is derived from the Sanskrit word Kevalam, only one. So this is where yoga leads us to. So there is a mix-up a little bit of Sankhya and yoga always. The speciality is that Patanjali in some way accepts the concept of Ishvara more than Sankhya. He says surrender to Ishvara is also one of the ways to have Kaivalya. That little bit of difference which Sankhya does not admit.